Hey, what's going on, everyone? Hello, Geezer, Tom. What's going on, guys? Anything happening over in your neck of the woods? I really didn't think much about this stream before throwing it together right now, so this is really off the cuff. I'm not sure how long I'll go. Maybe it'll just be a short one because I really didn't think about it, You know how I am. I like to usually have a topic in hand to steer us, but I thought maybe, what's up, Zane? I thought maybe, I thought maybe we'd just talk about the big three, Rolex, Patek Philippe, and Audemars Piguet. I thought that might be a cool thing to do. Are any of you contemplating any of those three watch houses at the moment right now? I know Zane is. Zane is was telling me that he's on the prowl for another Patek. Another stream about water watches at some point. What do you mean? Just like watches that are good for using in the ocean or poolside or things like that? Just a discussion on that. That'd be a good topic. If you want, we could make that the topic for tonight, and I can change it in the title. You guys want to talk about water watches tonight or stick to the big three? Oh, you won't stop until you have a minute repeater. Nice. I guess that is the ultimate complication. Good day, Marty. Yeah, I was kind of going to see how the flow goes, Tom, But, so yeah, I mean, what do we got? The wait lists. Okay, let me, I got an idea here. Let me just throw up, the topic related to the big three, and we'll talk about them. How about that? That way anybody that joins knows what we're talking about, so it'll be on the screen. All right. So, the big three wait lists. What do you guys think? Yeah, what's the wait list scenario looking like right now? Are any of you dealing with the wait list scenario right now? Any of you on a wait list? Any of you had an experience getting something recently? More importantly, have any of you gotten something recently from a wait list to give us an idea of the momentum, what's going on? Why don't I go on Archie's live streams? I want to. It's the timing hasn't been working out for me. Here's my timing right now. It's almost 4 a.m. here in California. And I've been having a very hard time physically. Just everything's very difficult for me since I've been doing these live streams at 3 a.m. That's how long I've been having some pretty bad trouble. So I've been trying to do some physical self-rehab, and I'm not sure if that's been hurting or what, but whatever. I just I'm able to watch his streams most of the time, but I don't feel good enough to come on them. So Zane won't know the wait list until the majority of ADs open and seeing if they will call. So yeah, right. I think that's the case. My authorized dealer is Ben Bridge Jewelers, and that's the only one store right now in particular that I'm dealing with in wanting to get my Panda Daytona and my BLRO Rolex Pepsi GMT in steel. I text the representative and he said that, let me see, what was his text back? I'll read you my text correspondence to him. I said, hello, so-and-so, how are you? I hope you and your family are well. Are you still at the branch that I deal with? How's things going? He said, yes, but the mall is closed. Hope your family is well too. That's it. That's all he said. So he's basically on vacation, vacay, right? And, I think that is what's happening with the watch prices too. Look, watch prices have definitely dropped. I mean, without it, they've dropped a lot, actually. They've dropped 10 to 25% on all the watches that we look at. So you've seen a 10 to 25% drop. And going to Zane's point, the ADs haven't even opened yet. So certain watch companies that are selling watches, discount retailers, online retailers, gray retailers, they've already got the jump on ADs and the advantage on that open market. Ben Bridge doesn't sell watches online. Here I am trying to get my watch from the guy, and he ain't doing anything until you can physically walk into a mall. So everybody other than the AD has a market advantage, has had a market advantage for a couple of months now, and they still do. So some of them are smart and doing what I would do, dropping prices to get rid of inventory and it's better to make money on volume, and make your money, make your money. That's it. And some of the places don't necessarily want to drop their prices too much, but hey, that's fine. They're not going to sell watches. That's what I think. No, I wouldn't take no vaccine. And, I don't know what'll happen when it comes to the kids, but whatever. You know what the impact of COVID-19 is going to be on the wait lists? DAMX. Actually, I think it's going to benefit some people. It's going to benefit the half of the people who are going to stay on the wait list, and it's not going to benefit the other half of the people who are going to not want to be on the wait list anymore. Look, at least 50% of the people on the wait list are going to not be able to afford that watch at this point now. And in a lot of cases, it isn't even a matter of being able to afford the watch. Some of you watching here right now would still be able to afford the watch, and maybe you haven't even been impacted a dollar by this entire fiasco. But you personally might step back and say, hey, I don't know what the future brings, So I'm going to voluntarily withdraw any major purchases on my own. And some of you might have a significant other that you talk with and who might persuade you to not spend money even though you have it. So easily, I would guesstimate that 50% of the wait list will shrink by 50%. I mean, why wouldn't it? It's going to shrink. That's for sure. That's a fact. By 5%, 10%, 50%. That's what you don't know. And the ADs won't know until they actually start, calling people, and people say, no, I don't want it. No, I don't want it. I don't think people will automatically take a watch just because they can flip it in the gray market and make money on it. For one, it's not that easy. For two, you're not going to get full pop on that secondary number that you're selling it for. You're probably going to sell it to another dealer. And so you're going to make a 50% on that margin, on that premium margin. And then thirdly, it's a lot of work and labor and hassle. I mean, it's a pain in the butt. Insuring the watch for shipping, whatever you got to do. It just, all of the stuff involved. Is it worth your time if you already have a job and you're making money at another job? What are you, in the watch business now? Are you trying to make money selling watches? I mean, that's stupid. Come on. That's ridiculous. I mean, yeah. I mean, Horology House has to hustle watches to put bread on the table. Literally has to hustle watches. But, none of us here are doing that. So. We're going to bring the Watch-Wrangler on the program. Apparently he's up. He's up right now. So we'll shoot him a link. Lee, what's up, Lee? Lee says he has 2 to collect when the AD opens. Nice. Tom's not on any wait list currently. Neil is struggling to get a steel Daytona. I've been waiting 2 weeks now. 2 weeks. Good luck, Neil. Marty says no watches for a while. Corona did you in super. Sorry about that, Marty. I genuinely hope things get better, man. I sent you a link, Clyde. Good morning, Shot in the Dark. Zane says most ADs calling now while closed are just baiting people to see if someone will bite to get deposits on watches they don't have. Yeah, try to get a feel for the market. Yeah, that's a good call, Zane. I have no doubt the branch managers of each store have told them, well, since you're at home doing nothing anyway, call all your prospective buyers and see if they're still going to be buying watches. Although my guy didn't call me. And you know who else? Bud the Stud, who comes on the program. His AD, she's a bitch. And she sends him nasty messages when he even asks anything. You guys seen that? I mean, there ain't no other word for her other than, she's a bitch, straight up. What's up, Rancher?
Hey, thanks for having me on, Rich. What a pleasant surprise. What the hell are you still doing up at 4 a.m. your time?
And, I slept for a little bit. I went to bed around 8 o'clock, actually.
Okay.
So
okay.
I got about 4 hours. It's about all we need, right?
No. 6, I think, is a minimum.
Yeah, I know. You know what? I can't remember the last time I've had a dream. I literally do not REM sleep ever. But hey, it's okay. We're talking about the wait lists. Are you on any right now?
Honestly, I can't think of any. I mean, I received a couple, but the rest of them were almost anything else I wanted. Like, I was thinking about a Hulk or maybe a Blue Sky Dweller. I was told good luck, even, years out. So I'm like, well, why even bother at that point? Of course, that was long before the CCP virus. But
yeah,
surprisingly enough, it's just that the super hot brands and the super hot pieces, that there's not really that much of a lowering of demand or prices, really.
Yeah.
The dealers, the resellers are all just kind of holding on to what they've got listed. But even here in the flyover states, there has been a huge drop. And let me also explain the flyover states. Keep in mind, the rest of the country is dealing with the CCP virus and quarantines and lockdowns, and the economy halfway turning to mush. But here in the flyover states, we're energy producers, and oil going down to almost free is also, that in itself would be a huge impact on us, even if there wasn't the CCP virus.
Yeah, definitely.
But even here, even by individuals, I've been monitoring a little bit, and so far it appears like the super hyped pieces have dropped a little bit, but they're still going for over MSRP.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of being white hot, they've cooled down to yellow hot to maybe red hot.
Well, when we looked at things a couple of days ago on my live stream, we went over prices. They've gone down up to 25% on all the hot models. 10 to 25%. Everything's gone down. I think a blanket 25%. When you look at what a BLRO was at top, what were those selling for? 19,000.
Right.
And what are they selling for now? I don't know. We were looking at, we looked at a lot of watches. And they've all come down several $1,000s. And nobody's even opened yet,
Yeah.
I mean, look at the Aquanaut. How much has the Aquanaut come down since November? About $10,000.
So what are they going for? What are they going for now?
Because they were topping at 45, 43,000, and now they're 36,000.
What's the MSRP on them?
About I think about 24.
Okay.
Out the door with taxes and all. So
that's still 50% more than the MSRP.
You look at the Nautilus 5711 was holding 65,000 easily on the gray market. It was listing for 65,000 all day long. 5711 Nautilus, and now they're about 10,000 less than that.
Well, and like with anything else, though, that's good. Though that's better news. That's good news for the people wanting to get in.
That's exactly what we were saying in the chat. That's exactly what we were saying. It's a good breather. It gives us a chance to not get ripped off as collectors. We want to go in, and I'm still not going to buy a 5711 at $55,000, but I might buy another Universal Genève. I might buy a pole router
Right.
if it's gone down 25% from its crazy peak. Yeah, I'm looking. I think I'd like a pole router. I've always wanted one of those. Like, I ended up getting the unit compacts instead. That was my first choice. The pole router was my second choice, so I still need to get another Universal Genève.
And like around here, about the best deal I've seen locally by individuals is like a late 2018 Explorer 214270 complete kit for $6,000. Now, compared to what it was,
yes, 7,500 versus 6, correct?
Well, I think it was 6,500 plus tax. So, at least $1,000 off.
All right.
New from the jeweler.
So just like that's 10, that's easily 10-12% from its top.
Yeah.
So you've got a 10 to 25% drop in all watches, all categories, all watches, a 10 to 25% drop that's happened.
Right.
And we're not even in a functioning environment yet. So the open signs haven't even opened yet. This is just the initial markdown. That's a good way to say it.
Initial markdown. Yeah, you're right. That is a good way to put it. But on the other hand, and what I've been saying is, if there's a Rolex that you have that you're out of love with, you may not have the wolf at the door, but you hear the wolf in the distance. You might want to consider trying to sell it now.
Oh yeah, to catch the last buzz. I wouldn't say buzz, but okay, yeah. Optimally speaking, there are no Rolex out there. You'd want to sell it if you're still wanting to sell. This is the time. Yeah, and nobody who is buying a watch today is. I mean, if they want it, they're gonna get it. They either want it or they don't, right? I mean,
well, it seems like the CCP virus and the quarantines and the lockdowns and everything, it's affecting everyone, but apparently it's affecting some people less than others.
Yeah.
And also, you have to also factor in that Rolex isn't cranking them out. So the people that would normally be waiting to get calls from their ADs or are not getting those calls.
What do you guys think? Here's a very serious question. Do you guys think that the overall production market is going to be hampered going forward? Is the production of watches going to forever be slowed down because of the virus and the impact of how we do business?
Well, as for the production of watches, I would say even social distancing, it's not, I don't think, are they really crammed up against each other making watches like they were on the Model T assembly line where they're literally standing right by each other? I
think their desks are, 10 feet apart. So, but it's a personal environment.
Well, and keep in mind, I think when Rolex turns on the tap, they're not going to turn it on all the way anyway. They're very shrewd about protecting their market share.
Well, in a global depression, are you planning on turning the taps on all the way anyway? Good point, Clyde. Good point. It's not going to happen.
But yeah, sometimes I kind of wonder, it's just like, I think of the Chinese completely nuked to the left coast. I think people in New York and New Jersey and Florida would still be buying Rolexes. Even if half the country was a radioactive wasteland, I don't know if that would affect Rolex demand in the other parts.
Oh yeah, no, that's how California is acting about the virus. You know, the rest of the world's dying, and over here we're just like, you're full of shit. There ain't no virus. You know, I mean,
Now, and like I said, but on the other hand, if you're looking at other brands, buy carefully, buy well, do your research. But I'd say other brands that are being more affected more than Rolex. This is actually a good time for those other ones.
yeah,
Like for instance, on the Beg stream a while back, we're talking about like new references from Patek Philippe and Vacheron Constantin, where they went back in the vault and they did reeditions of like classic chronographs from like the 40s and 50s within the last few months.
yeah.
And
You know, I was just reading
go ahead.
in a couple of chats. You know, someone just got their Aquanaut. They waited 7 months for it. Here I am waiting 2.5 years now. I'm at the 2.5 year mark, literally. I'm starting to get upset to the point to where I kind of don't want the watch.
Well, Rich, is that really? I know it is frustrating. I realize that, but boy, as soon as air travel really resumes in earnest, you might want to make some phone calls and make some friends down in the Big D in Houston and down in Texas, because something tells me their waiting lists have probably dropped off somewhat as well.
Oh yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, imagine the entire Texas industry is going to be the whole state of Texas is going to be in deep recession because of the oil industry.
I'd say Oklahoma, but we don't have a Patek dealership.
Years ago, when I was a kid, we lived in Bakersfield, Kern County, and Central California, and it was a 100% oil town, Shell Oil. It was a Shell Oil town. And when there was the oil crisis back in the 80s, Shell Oil closed, and that entire town of Bakersfield just went defunct. I mean, gone.
Yep.
My folks sold their home at I think it was a 50% loss to come here to Southern California. And at a 50% loss, it took 4 years to sell the house, 4 years to get out of that hell. Couldn't even, my dad was driving down here every day and back, commuting, 2 hour each direction, 2.5 hours each direction, just because we couldn't sell the house for 4 years. So yeah, I've been in a oil producing economy before. I know the effects of it.
Well, we're a little bit more boomy and busty than the rest. We've either got easy money just literally pouring in, or we got nothing.
Yeah. But as far as the Patek goes and the wait list for me on that Aquanaut, 2.5 years, what's upsetting me, it's fine. 2 years, 5 years, fine. But when someone can just walk in and buy it without waiting, and I understand about the now I can understand when people get upset when I get my Rolexes like that and they can't get them. I can sympathize and empathize with them now. It can develop a resentment towards the brand,
or against the AD,
or against the AD, right? Like I kind of feel that as soon as I get that watch in my hands and I walk out of the store, I'm going to go give them a 1-star review on every site I can think of.
Now, of course, on the other hand, that also depends. Now, if the guy that just walks in and gets the Aquanaut first pop if he had to buy like a gold Patek Pilot watch, and if he had to get I don't know, a Calatrava at full pop.
I don't think that's appropriate.
Well, it may not be appropriate, but then keep in mind he's basically paying extra to jump to the front of the line.
Yeah. I just don't think that's, whether it's fair or not. I don't want to say it's not fair. I don't think it's, because it's not fair. I don't think it's right. This is where I think the big three, Rolex, Patek, and AP, should govern their wait lists. I think they should.
Well, it depends. I think, now keep in mind, I've always heard VC is referred to as part of the Trinity. You can either argue that Rolex, well, some people argue that Rolex should be, and some people actually argue that in terms of profitability and demand, maybe Rolex should be above the big three.
Yeah, no, I mean, the Trinity's the ones I have listed here. That's why I got them, the big three: Rolex, Patek, and AP. That's the Trinity. I don't care what, anybody thinks or says. Times have changed. At one point, Apple was insignificant. People wondered if Apple was going to survive, and look at them now.
Well, on the other hand, all it takes is, AP, on the other hand, they've got one or two super desirable models. Otherwise, not much of anything. Otherwise, they'd be in VC's position, maybe even worse.
But I think that it's important for the brand's integrity that they step up and govern the wait lists. The wait list should be at the factory, not at the dealer. And if there's two wait lists, if there indeed is one at the factory and a sub wait list at the dealer, the manufacturers need to make a change to that.
Well, and I understand Patek kind of curates its wait lists. I think they have more of a hands-on approach. It's where I almost think Patek has to approve you to get, especially a desirable piece, rather than just whoever. They're basically the gatekeeper rather than the AD.
Well, I think there's two levels. I think on the high-end pieces, it's how you say, but on anything below 150,000, it's in the hands of the ADs. And here I am waiting 2.5 years for a piss shit Aquanaut, and somebody else gets it in 7 months, or walking in and getting it. Well,
and God knows ADs are not totally transparent in their allocation practices.
Well, I had a deposit on there for 2 years, and they call me and refund me my deposit. And I mean, to go to that extent, and they're giving other people watches, I don't think that's appropriate. I think at least someone who's had a deposit for 2 years should be getting the watch, when someone who's been waiting 7 months with no deposit. It just...
Well, I think, like I said, I actually think Rolex, of course,
Well, see, Rolex does those corporate wait lists with certain watches as well. Like the Rainbow Daytona is a corporate wait list, right?
Yeah. Rolex is aware about the fact that there are super flippers out there, people that are basically might be doing a lot of traveling around, are on wait lists at multiple ADs. Of course, the ADs are different business entities. They don't talk to each other really because they're competitors, but Rolex basically knows what's up. And if it gets bad enough, I've actually seen, like I said, actually at one point I had possession of an email sent from Rolex, from corporate in Geneva, Rolex Switzerland, to Rolex USA, and Rolex USA was forwarding it to the local ADs. And it basically was doing the thou shalts and thou shalt nots. And specifically, it also listed, we have it on very good we have intelligence that the following people are going around and buying these popular pieces at full pop, even paying cash. And they basically, when they listed like maybe 6 guys, Rolex could do that to where curate the list a little bit more. In other words, the watch gets in, the AD that goes through the list, whatever, it calls a person calls up. Rolex would then, and like I said, an AD basically has to get on their iPad, type in the information, and send the information and send it off to Rolex Switzerland to get on, more or less to get the warranty information, right?
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't take that much effort for Rolex Switzerland to say, this guy has already, we've got him on record for buying 4 BLROs. Sell not approved.
Right. Yeah, that's a point there too. Well taken. Some people may be buying. Some people might be on the good side of these ADs, and they're just flipping watches.
Oh yeah, no. Even Rolex, like I said, even Rolex was aware of that. Rolex basically even said they listed 6 people, at least in the southern or south midwestern United States.
Yeah, sometimes we see those Instagrams where someone is holding 12 Hulks. Like, where did they get 12 Hulks from?
Yep.
Yeah.
The reason why I don't think they don't do more about it is, quite frankly, they don't think it's worth the effort. Remember, Archie is very lazy, a little greedy with the overwhelming sense of entitlement. Rolex is very greedy and a little lazy with an overwhelming sense of entitlement.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Zane says maybe if you bought a 5196, they sell you the Aquanaut. You know what, Zane? After being on the wait list for 1.5 years, I went in and snubbed them. I went in, told them I want to look at a 5196, tried them on, asked him everything about it, agreed with him that, yeah, I need to get one of these. And then I went and got one from my gray dealer and came back and showed it to him. So how's that?
That might have something about you being on the wait list for 2.5 years.
How's that to stick a finger up his butt, huh? You like that one? And then he asked me how much and then he had his on his wrist that he just bought from himself, right? And he gets whatever discount he gets. And he showed me his. He had a 5196R just like mine, because 1.5 years ago he was talking about how he's really wants one. His wife just got it for him for an anniversary or something. And he asked me how much I paid for mine. And when I said below 15, 3 months old with papers, I said, I probably got it cheaper than you did, huh? So I know I got it cheaper than he did. I got a better deal than him. There's no way he got it for 14.7. There's no way he did. I mean, even if you got a 20% discount, it lists for 22. So, he would have to get a 20% discount to match my price. I doubt he got that.
Well, keep in mind, I'm not sure what the dealer margin is on those pieces. I think was it 30 or 40% on Rolex or something? One of the things I also heard was when they upped the prices right after or right before best, or was it this year or the beginning of last year? It's the beginning of
last year, yeah.
Well, no. Well, or it could have been, I don't know if it was 4 months ago or 18 or 16 months ago. But one of the things which also got back to me was that the super hot piece, no, I guess it was towards the beginning of 2020 or the end of 2019, where Rolex basically upped the price a little bit on the super popular models. But one of the things that they also did is that they kept the price increase all of themselves. Normally it's, the jewelers are allowed us, or the ADs are allowed a certain percentage of the MSRP.
Yes.
And Rolex kept the amount that they made for the watches the same, but they raised the prices.
I see. Yeah, that was a year ago now. I think it's been a year since that's happened.
Yeah, maybe like the November, December, something like that. 6 months.
Yeah.
So,
well, Abdul, hey, if I told them, and I've told them over and over again, yeah, you get me that Aquanaut, maybe I'll buy another Patek from you.
maybe.
Yeah, it's the other way around. So you don't want to get me my Aquanaut, I'll go buy my watches elsewhere. I'm not going to buy watches from you so I get my Aquanaut, like what all you guys are doing. I'm going to play the other game. I'll go get my watches from elsewhere if you don't get me the watch from that I want. And now that you're pissing me off, if you ever get me this watch, after I get it, I'm going to tell you, hey, thanks for the watch. I'm never going to buy another watch from you here again. I mean, and at this point, I don't even give a damn if they call me or not. If they're watching this program, I don't even care if I get that Aquanaut now at this point. To be honest, they should be kissing my butt to get my $26,000, not the other way around. I've got a Daytona and a Pepsi on the list. I know those are coming. I'm good with my Rolex AD. So,
well, hopefully your Patek AD is watching this and not your Rolex AD.
Well, my Rolex AD knows I keep all my Rolexes, and I ain't got nothing bad to say about them. But hey, I've got one Patek.
On the other hand, you have a little bit more empathy now for the people that say, God damn it, my AD ain't giving me squat.
Yeah, and I could do that too, weekday, but but I got one right now. So that got me the satisfaction of having the watch that I needed. I needed to have a Patek Philippe. I can't imagine going the last year or so without having one. So I'm enjoying it. So I don't necessarily need to go and run out and have another one at the moment because I've already got one. Even, So that's a good point, a good pointer to any of you out there who really feel that you want a Patek Philippe and you don't have any. You don't need to hold out and get that Grail Patek Philippe you want. You don't need to get that Nautilus. Go get that inexpensive Calatrava for $16,000, and honestly, it's going to satisfy the itch to where you it's so good you won't need to get another watch. Was it only this January, Marty, they went up? It feels like a whole year already.
It really, really does, doesn't it?
Yeah. But he's right. It was just this January 1st.
But
that would do them in right there. If I just went out and bought one and said, hey, I got one, just take me off your wait list. I'm going to go on the wait list for another Patek at another dealer, one that can get me one less than 2.5 years. No, honestly, that kind of, yeah.
No kidding. Yeah. Well, I hate to say this, but duh. I mean, it's either sorry, either your AD is pulling some underhanded crap, or they have so many people lined up ahead of you. So why not? If when you're checking out at the supermarket, do you get in the lane with the most people, or do you get in the shortest lane?
Yeah, right.
Or
no, I like to be in the longest line.
Oh yeah, evidently.
Or are you the guy that has 10 items, 20 20 items and you go stand in the 10 items or less line.
I feel bad. I feel horrid if I've got 11.
Oh man.
Well, and the thing is, really, oh God, I hate people that do that. I detest people that do that.
What's up, Bill Rizzo? How are you? Yeah, it's funny.
Well, and here's the thing, though. Here's what I think. I mean, you know, I think put a big sign up by the express lane. If you walk in with more than 10 items, we're charging you extra.
Yeah. 50 cents per item. So, yeah,
in my line of business, we refer to that as the PETA surcharge.
well, now there isn't a line at the grocery store at all. Now it's like you're the only one going in and out. Everybody went, hoarded, got all their stuff, and now the grocery stores are vacant.
Not here.
Really?
Well, yeah, actually, I mean, I went in and it's like, God, everyone is. And I looked down at my watch and I'm like, oh, it's the first. God damn it.
The only grocery store that has a line out front of it is the Whole Foods. I guess because it's organic market or something. Like that has anything to do with coronavirus? I don't know.
See, I don't know. I'm not sure about that because I mean, yeah, they do have some really good stuff. I'm not going to lie. They do a lot of stuff in house, a lot of extras that traditionally higher end grocery markets do.
Local grocers, you mean, right?
Well, local and chains. I guess local, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's important to support your local grocers, even if it costs more. I just saw something about the meat market. I didn't know that we import meat from other countries. That's ridiculous. I had no idea we import beef and steak and.
Well, yeah, I mean, over here we have, we've got some hellacious deals on beef, but it's generally, God, I forgot the name of it, but it's basically imported from Mexico.
Yeah, that's what they were talking about in the program, and the industry fought really hard to eliminate the labels because there used to be labels that said made in Mexico, imported from China on the meat, and now it doesn't. And they fought really hard against it. And it eliminates competition for the local growers. See, the show that I watched, they had a local cattle rancher, and he said it eliminates competition, and we need our competition. He said, when there's two steaks up on the shelf and one says made in China and says one made in Oklahoma, which one are you going to pick? You're going to pick my steak, not the other steak. He says, I need that competition, and they're keeping me from putting that on my label.
Well, they're doing that. They're purposely choosing to withhold information from consumers.
Yes, because they're driving the supply. They're driving the entire industry into an oligarchy state, like everything else. And the small cattle ranchers used to be, 90%, 80% of the supply, and now they're 40% of the supply, and they're trying to drive them out to make them serfs to the system rather than independent ranchers. Yeah, it's
well, and the thing is, though, the global economy, it's done a lot of wonders, but our supply on our dependence on cheap labor and cheap products, I'm about to say, man, that sure is biting us on the ass right about now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And international corporations just doing everything they can to squeeze every last ounce of profit. if let's just say there's a trade tariff war or something with China, you realize China makes a lot of our medications.
This is one of the reasons why we appreciate our watches. They're made they're all made by fine makers, fine artisans. It's a very refined artistic art. You know what I'm saying? It's there in Geneva, very localized, very niche, very special. Here they come trying to take that market over too, with the fakes and everything. I mean, I wish every country still had its localized economy that had its special things that it gave to the world, and everything just got wasted, it seems like. If you know what I'm trying to say.
Well, yeah,
That came out scrambled.
We used to manufacture stuff in America, but corporations don't want to pay a living wage.
So,
not to mention China has basically no environmental regulations. I mean, literally, if you pay off a local party official, you can dump as much shit as you want to into the air until the water supply. That stuff doesn't fly here. Doesn't fly here locally.
right. What you don't see doesn't hurt you. So it's okay that it happens on the other side of the globe. It doesn't affect this side of the globe. That's the way they've built it. They've built the whole system to where everything's hidden on the other side of the planet. And they still scream environmentalism, global climate, all this stuff, yet they're the ones polluting on the other side of the globe, doing the opposite of everything that they're preaching and collecting taxes to run those illicit corporations on the other side of the planet. I mean, they're getting climate credits and all of these made up financial instruments, and that's free money. What's a climate credit? And we're paying for it in the form of, like here in California, our gas has never went down in this whole fiasco. Our gas never went down. The gas station on the corner from me is still at $3.59 a gallon, man. $3.59. It never went down. He never dropped it even 10 cents. Now other places went down $1.
Well,
but the lowest I've seen it here is $2.50, $2.40.
Well, here though, it's dropped down to like $1.75, and people are mad because, when you get a gallon of gasoline, they'll give you $1.75.
Yes. The refinement costs with the taxation and everything just, it takes it to the roof.
Yeah.
Now, Audemars AP, boy, talk about a waitlist scenario there. They make Patek and Rolex look like new kids on the block when it comes to a waitlist. They don't even want to talk to you if you're not wearing 3 APs on your wrist while you're on the phone with them or when you walk in. You better walk in with an AP.
They only want to deal with the Doody Robsons of the world.
You better have an AP on each wrist and one or your pee-pee pole too when you walk into the store.
Oh, I was looking down, and I said at one of the commenters, I said, "Oh, a lot of people are looking for you right now." Then I realized his name is Jeb rather than Job. Sorry.
Do you know that there was breaking news? Oh man, sorry. Oh man. There was breaking news that came out.
Are you talking about the woman shooting up the local McDonald's here because they without a mask?
No, did that happen?
Oh yeah, it totally happened.
She went in without a mask?
Yep, and they said, nope, got to have a mask come in order. And she basically came back without a mask, still without a mask, but with a firearm.
And what'd she do?
She shot the place up.
Anybody die? Any injuries?
I think she winged a few people.
No shit. So I guess that Dr. Fauci is on quarantine right now. He's suspected of having coronavirus. The guy who created the coronavirus, literally. The guy who funded the Wuhan lab with $7 million overtly in secret. He's in self-quarantine right now. I wonder if he's gonna get it or not. And apparently maybe the vice president is on self-quarantine too.
Yep, because his press secretary had it. Well, at first I was watching the news, it's like, wait a minute. Trump's personal valet has it? What? Oh, shit. That means we'd have President Pence. Wait, President Pence's press secretary has it?
Oh no! Don't go down that chain of command, bro.
Yeah, who's next? Like, oh god, that means President Pelosi.
Oh shit! At least she's high risk, okay?
They're all high risk.
Yeah, man, if we lose Trump, we're in trouble, man. We need him. If we lose him, we're in trouble. We need this crazy guy right now, regardless of anything. He's the least bought guy that you can have at the moment. And we just need that. I mean, nobody else wears a Patek Philippe.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. So it's interesting. What's going to be interesting is to see how many of us here get called by ADs when things start opening up. That's what I'm curious. Am I going to get a phone call for that Pepsi or for that Aquanaut for that matter? I might be curious enough to call FP Journe and ask them if the wait list has gone down from 7 years to 3. I doubt it. Not with FP Journe, right?
No, and that's what I was going to say. Certain manufacturers, like I said, the really high end ones, like Roger Smith literally has like 10 years worth of orders ahead of him.
Yeah, 10 years of orders ahead of him. I think even for the Aquanaut and the Nautilus,
Roger Smith,
Wrangler. Yeah, right.
And these 6-figure watches, and these people have already paid up.
Yeah, we're a different group. Us watch enthusiasts, collectors / whatever. We're a different group. We allocate money even that we don't have to our watch habit, don't we? Somehow we can all file for Chapter 11, but still have a $200,000 watch collection while we're doing it.
Well, Chapter 11, of course, yeah. If it's of course, it's going to be Chapter 11 because you get to keep your assets as long as. Well, the last thing we'll do is file for Chapter 7 because the bankruptcy testee will show up at your. Will basically show up as a subpoena at your safety deposit box.
Thanks for the tip.
That is no way to be construed as legal advice. If you have a legal question, you should contact a competent, licensed legal professional in your area.
It's okay. We don't need the caveats, lawyer. There's nobody watching.
Fair enough. Well, there's people on here. Well, let's see. I can actually do real videos now. I finally got my trash can Mac Pro back.
Okay.
Oh, that's nice. Um, ended up not frying my laptop. Thank you, sweet Jesus. And I think, however, early this week, I'm going to do one last upgrade to the trash can. I'm going to stick in an SSD with twice the storage and twice the speed.
Nice.
Yeah, and I can do that one. Even that one is all I have to do is just pop the case off and then remove one screw, screw it back.
You know, I want to end it with this one question: what to buy in these times without going crazy and spending ludicrous amounts of money in uncertain economic times for all of us? I say the right thing to buy is inexpensive vintage pieces like that pull router I've been wanting. Or maybe for somebody else, that vintage Hamilton or that vintage Movado. I don't know. What do you think?
Buy what you love and what you can afford. I think that's always. And of course, it's just like, well, come on, Clyde. That definition is so soft it doesn't mean anything. No, it's pliable enough to cover different people in different circumstances. Like there's an Omega that I'm totally in lust after. I threw up a quick video about it last night, and I love that one. Vacheron. Oh, that's what I was telling you. Vacheron came up with a vintage inspired chronograph, and Patek Philippe did the same thing. They did. Omega did the same thing about 6 years ago. They had something called the museum collection, and they went back to the Omega Museum and they got the favorites of the viewers and of the staff. They took some of their classic designs from 40, 50, 60, 70 years back ago, tweaked them a little bit for modern sensibilities and released them, of course, as limited editions because they're Omega. But one of the ones is the number 8, also known as the 1949 Resend driver. So it's a gold chronograph, very much in the series, in the style of the 40s and 50s. So white dial, 18 karat gold case. Doesn't even have a display case back. It has a gold case back, and it looks dead on like a cherry piece from that era. Pristine white dial. They've got 2 or 3 scales, 3 different colors on the dial. They've got the oblong squared, the square elongated pushers like in the style. Now they did put in a coaxial in it, but they made it a manual coaxial. So it's only 11 millimeters thick, but they made it 39. The diameter is 39 millimeters, and to me that's a nice. That kind of fits well into keeping in line with the original specs of the watch and upgrading it a little bit for modern sensibility. So they didn't go Hublot or Breitling or anything on it.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that looks every bit as good as those recent releases from Patek Philippe and Vacheron for a fraction of the price.
Yeah.
When Omega released it for like $16,000. And so you can get them in the low 5 digits or high 4-digit range right now. And I think if Omega had released that one, and a lot of people aren't aware of it because they released a whole bunch at once. So it kind of got lost in the shuffle. I think if Omega went back and re-released it right now, I think Patek and Vacheron would be biting their nails a little bit. Even if they released it for $20,000 compared to what those other pieces are going for. If you're looking at that Vacheron or that Patek and the guys are looking at, which ones I'm referring to, I think you're a freaking idiot if you don't consider the Omega first.
Yeah, I love Omega. You know what all of the guys in the chat want Rolex to come out with during these pandemic times, during this time of their 1 year hiatus where they can sit back and hit the design board. We want this right here. We want this watch relived.
Yep. Okay, wait. Let me see if I can change my icon to
Or even just a president, a day date with a blue moon phase. We just want a president with a moon phase, with a blue background, with a meteorite moon, like they do on the Cellini.
right?
That would be amazing. A 40-day date with a Cellini moon phase on it. I mean, it'd be a $60,000 watch easily.
Okay, now I just threw up the Omega Museum number 8 on as my avatar.
Let me hear. I love the museum pieces. The museum pieces are amazing. They're so different than all the other Omegas.
Give me, if you don't mind, give me the full screen so people can see a little bit, maybe a little bit easier.
Oh, there we go.
That is breath. I love the indices. I love the hands. I also love the fact that the second hand and the sub-register and the registers are just simply white on black. So legibility, even at 39 millimeters, is spectacular.
You know, even is this a new piece or an old piece?
It's a 6. They re-released it about six years ago.
Yeah, because when I last went into the Omega boutique, yeah, I love the museum collection.
It's the original piece has an interesting story behind it. Resend driver, I think that's basically race end. Omega basically engineered something to where that once a race car hit a certain place, like the finish line on a track, that it would take a picture and superimpose the exact time, like chronograph time, on it.
Yeah.
They could say, well, okay, no, the first tire that hit the bar was at 1 hour, 25 minutes, and 45 seconds, and that was number 15. 3 seconds later, number 99 hit it. And you can tell by the second picture.
Yeah.
Or you could say, well, okay, well, yeah, number 99 hit the bar first, but number 15 has a longer nose, so long, because the longer, literally won by a nose. So actually, number 15 won. At that point, the innovation made Omega like a must-have on high-end tracks, high-end tracks, and so the race end in 1949 was their victory lap, slight pun intended, at basically commemorating that they were able to do that.
Huh. Well, when you see these museum pieces in the boutique, they always stand out to be the most beautifully finished pieces of all the Omegas in the store.
Mm-hmm.
And for me in particular, I like the dials. I always like these dials the best. The ones with all of this print on them and scales. Those are always the dials that appeal to me the most. But the reason why these watches never took off is because they're solid case back, and they're, I think they're about $20,000 a piece. So those are the two reasons I think they never took off. Like, you don't hear about them. Nobody ever talks about them.
Well, okay, but you've heard the expression, if you're one step ahead of everyone, you're a prophet. If you're 2 steps ahead of everyone, you're a martyr. I think this is one of the rare cases where Omega was 2 steps ahead of everyone. I think if they released that, the MSRP on this one is 16. If they released it for 20 or 25 after the fast run of the Patek references,
Yeah.
I think those guys would be worried.
Yeah, I've seen these in the boutique. In particular, the one in the center is just
Oh yeah.
the one in the center looks really nice. But
Well, it's like if a Speedy got it on with a Breitling Navi timer.
yeah.
Now, come on, is that not to die for?
Oh yeah, no, I mean it's got applied gold Omega logo,
Yep.
and yeah, 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 those are nice pieces. But again, it's 17,000 for this one, I think, and nobody's going to spend that much money versus a Daytona.
What if you
Unfortunately,
what if you could get that one for 8,000?
I think it's definitely worth 8,000 without a doubt. Without a doubt.
It's on Crown and Caliber for 7,650.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I shit you not. That's what. Yeah, there's no way right now. No way, no how. I'm not going to make any discretionary purchases. All right.
So there you go, 50% off.
Yeah, actually a little bit more than 50% off.
You know what's disappointing? A big letdown on this watch is that they didn't leave it a open case back. I mean, what was the reasoning behind that? Why didn't they open the case back for us?
Okay, but it's basically a coaxial. It's a coaxial, and here's this, and
the movement's beautiful. We want to see it.
Well, and yeah, and I've got an Aquaterra with a modern, and it's a nice movement. Don't get me wrong, but to me, I don't know if it's drill worthy. Really, it's the same reason why Rolex doesn't do open case backs.
If they put the gold rotor movement like what I had in my Constellation, I mean, that movement was to die for to look at. Well, all they had to do was put that movement in there. The 8601 or whatever that was that I had.
Disagree. Because here's why: it would thicken up the watch. They took the coaxial and they converted it to manual wind just to keep it thin, like the original watch was. That's one of the reasons. That's one of the reasons I like the Breitling 806 reissue as opposed to the Longines Big Eye. Breitling put a little bit more effort and took their B01 and made it thinner, made it manual wind, and made it B01 to B09. Longines on the other hand, being a fraction of the Omega, of the Breitling, just basically dropped in a modern chronograph movement with a rotor and called it a day.
Mm-hmm. I guess the positive is that gold adds a nice heft to the watch, some good weight.
Yep. And keep in mind, though, like Dyson is 30% engineering and 70% marketing. I think a lot of what the Swiss watch industry can be as I don't know, deceptive as it simply because the open case. Now, there's two sins, I think, when it comes to case backs. Number one is not giving a movement a display caseback that truly deserves one.
Yeah.
And the second one, and to me, even the bigger sin, is giving a movement a display caseback that doesn't deserve one, which is simply economics. It's simply cost cutting.
Yeah.
Like the the Tudor North flag, for instance, that one has, Jay from the left coast sent me one to play with, and nice watch. But I remember looking at the case backs, just saying, it's a nice looking movement. Don't get me wrong, but there's not a whole lot of finishing. It doesn't. Why the hell did they put a display on it? And the reason why, it was their first in-house movement that they've done in God knows how long. Literally the very first one. So they wanted to show that off.
I see, but yeah, you're right. There's a lot of watches that you wonder why there's even a open case back on them. That's true.
Because as expensive as sapphire glass is, it ain't as expensive as gold. And also, like my Vacheron Series Overseas Series 1, that I've been told that's a very finely decorated, Geneva seal movement, but they dropped a solid case back in. It's just like, and that's actually one of the reasons why I think Bill Sanders got rid of his. That and the bracelet was not ideal. The bracelet is like Seiko quality. But the watch itself, attractive. And I think they would have probably, if they would have, in this case, cheaped out and put a display case back in, I think it would have been more popular. Now, whether to do this, and it could be maybe, and I know yours with the rotor, with the gold, was spectacular. We don't know what they dropped in that. They could have been completely they could have been completely utilitarian, because it's just like, well, there's no rotor, it's just manual wind. It's just you're just going to see the case back and a few bridges and everything else like that. But
it's a chronograph, so it should have some effects. It should have something.
True. I guess if you wanted to, you could always look at the movement, specifically in watch base, and look at a picture of it.
I'm sure the back of the 321 is pretty. In the see-through case back. Do we know anybody who has one of those watches yet?
No, I don't think it's out. I don't think it's due out yet.
Oh. They took deposits and stuff like that, probably?
Probably. But, and again, well, the thing is, though, they shut Omega down, too, so that might have something to do with it. Keep in mind, Switzerland, they're a little bit more top down. They also have a federal government, but their federal government has at least as much power as the federal government in the U.S. has. So when they dropped the boom, said nope, shut her down, send everyone home.
Yeah. You still there?
Oh, hey, my SSD's coming in today. I wasn't expecting it till Wednesday, so I'll have something to dick around with tonight. Nice.
Cool. Well, hey, Clivers, you know what? Let's wrap it up. It's hitting. It just hit 5 a.m. here, and I think I'm gonna try to catch a few winks. Okay.
All right. Sleep well, my friend.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on. That was great. I'll be doing these all the time. So when you see me on here, just say hello, and we'll have some quick morning chats. These will be good ones. All right.
Absolutely. All right. Take care.
Cool. Thanks, guys, for joining. Appreciate you guys all. Thanks again, Clyde. Appreciate you, bro.
Subscribe and like, and tell your finely discerning friends.
Yeah. Thank you. Subscribe, like, tell your friends. All right. Peace, guys. Catch Bill Sanders. I think he's probably on right now. Maybe been on for about 5 minutes or so, right? All right, guys. Peace.